All right, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me. Just so much flurry of news today. Um, when it's coming to, you got GameStop, you got AMC, you got BlackBerry, you got Wall Street bets. On top of that, this week on Wall Street, you have earnings from yesterday. We had Microsoft. Today we have Facebook, Apple, Tesla being the biggest one, and just the craziness that's what's going on with all the hedge funds and everything else. So when it comes down to it, I'm here to cover the Tesla Model X, specifically X, refresh, version 2. As some of you may know, our 2017 Model X 75 seven-seater uh, was totaled. And still waiting for resolution with that and waiting for valuation. I had to hire an outside appraiser to cover it and put in their third-party appraisal, and then now I'm fighting with my insurance company. I had FSD. I paid for full self-driving, which now is stuck with the car, which I'm not getting back. So when it comes to software and hardware, it's really tricky because no one knows what the valuation is. So the decision here going forward is, do I buy FSD again for $10,000, or do you wait for a monthly subscription, which is what something that Elon Musk has actually spoke about. But onto the better and easier things to digest today and just talk about is the new Model X. We have been waiting for this for years now. There's been no refresh since 2016 on the interior of the X, and if you go back, the fact that the X was sharing the interior of the S since 2012. So we're at 8-9 years now. The biggest thing is the interior. The exterior, not so much, but we're going to focus on the interior because that's all they have. We are seeing now the new Model X Plaid pushing 340 miles of range, which is less than the ludicrous one by just a smidge. But we're seeing 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, a 9.9 quarter mile, and over 1,020 peak horsepower. That is something insane for an SUV of this, this heavy, and it's something remarkable. But when you, the one of the biggest things that are, is polarizing right now is the new yoke steering wheel. If you go into the actual builder, or if you go into the Model X, and you click on details, or go through the carousel, and you're able to pull up what it shows, it talks about actually no stocks and no shifting. If you zoom in on that yoke steering wheel, you see that there are supposedly force feedback, force touch buttons on the left hand for your thumb, where the stock would be for left turn signal, right turn signal, and high beams. And on the right side, you see the horn, you see autopilot, and there's something else, which the microphone for voice activation. That's all interesting stuff. The yoke itself literally looks like it was taken from an aircraft. So, some of my aviation friends would be used to something like that, but it's not like you're moving it up and down. You're turning it left and right. So is it more sensitive when you're trying to make a U-turn? Or I don't know, just here's this. This is how it's going to look like, right? So we're kind of going like this, or I don't know. Anyways, it's polarizing, but I've fallen in love with it because I'm used to it, and I think it's really cool. It'd be really cool if you could tilt it to go forward and back, or somehow incorporate the D and the R, because it's also stockless. There's no PRND. So how are you going to shift gears? They're saying maybe you'll just touch something on a touch screen, but we don't know yet. Those details are scarce. Another big thing on the refresh is just the entire cabin. We have a 17-inch monitor that has a built-in gaming rig that's equivalent to 10 teraflops, which is the new PS5. And if you look, the Easter egg is it has, you see it on the screen, it has the picture of The Witcher. And even Elon Musk earlier this evening tweeted that you could play Cyberpunk 2077, which is crazy intensive in terms of resources. And apparently, it still skips like crazy on the PS4. A lot of issues with, reviews being so bad. I actually returned my version. I have the PS5. I didn't even open it though, just because I wasn't sure if I was going to get to play with it. But so you have that 17-inch screen in the middle, which supposedly can now tilt left and right just a little bit, but it's now horizontal compared to the vertical of the outgoing version 1. Then you still have that center stack, and the new thing is that rear screen for passengers, an 8-inch screen that's in the center console on the lower level back there. And it's interesting because that's where my kids put their feet up, or they climb. Maybe they won't have to climb anymore because they'll have some kind of control there. But we see it on any of the images that they're playing games on it, or it's going to be used for maybe climate control. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. When you look at the Plaid, it talks about the carbon fiber sleeved rotor, and for maintaining peak power output all the way to top speeds. When we look at drag racing videos, you see that the Model X and S are both guilty of slowing down at the top end, and then eventually you'll see like the A8 really pull forward. But that's just the only car I could think of right now that I saw in a video pull forward, or maybe one of the Ferrari videos. But so we're hoping that this is going to change. But a quarter mile in under 10 seconds is insane. When you compare Plaid versus long range, you get a 20-mile boost with the long range going to 360 miles, but then you also only have peak performance output of 670. And it's not a tri-motor. It's still back to the dual motor. So that's one of the biggest differences. When you also think about watching Netflix or listening to audio, we have a 22 speaker array with microphones built in to enable noise cancellation. So instead of doubling up on windows, which I still hope it has, it's good thickness, double paned, that we're going to have that ability to, get the best listening experience. You look at the other things with, the spacious cabin, we see an increase of 3 cubic feet in terms of cargo space from 89 on the previous version to 91. I don't know where that is. We don't have the dimensions of the length or the width of the car. And as you know, I did create an Excel worksheet to show the difference on interior capacity with a Honda Odyssey, because that's also our other car that we drive here. Obviously, we still choose between 5, 6, or 7 seats. And another big thing that they brought back is ventilated seats. Now, when I zoomed into the pictures on the rear seats, it looks like it has that perforated leather, which would indicate rear ventilated seats, but it doesn't mention that on the actual details. But I am excited for those, because that is one thing I miss on a bunch of luxury cars is front ventilated seats, especially here in San Diego in the summer. It's a must. So when you go through the guide, you click on order now on the Tesla website, and you're able to put in what you want, and then you click on this right here. It says feature details. Let's see if the camera's going to get it, and there it is. Feature details right around here. Let's see, right there. Feature details, and from there you'll be able to expand more and see what they're talking about. So, it tells you the 0 to 60 in long range is 3.8, and the Plaid is 2.5, and that's just insane. And it gives you some graphics of what the all-wheel drive system look like. Good to know, we still have Falcon wing doors, which is awesome. But when you read it, it makes it sound like it's not going to come with a key fob. In other words, we're seeing things where you use the app now to open and close your doors, which is something that I was surprised you didn't see in the previous version. But I'm excited to see the expansion of the mobile app, or have that mobile key card like the Model 3. The interiors, you have to go Plaid if you want carbon fiber. If not, it's just that wood grain ebony decor, which is what they're calling it, or on the black, or walnut with the white, or walnut with that cream decor. When you go to feature details on the interior, that's where it talks about the panoramic windshield that has, optimized solar tinting and UV obstruction. The 3 displays, which is going to be amazing. the tri-zone for climate control, so the rear is going to get their own, but then maybe now the passenger also in the front. And they are saying that the stereo system is 960 watts. So that's gonna be great. So back to the interior on the driver's side. From the driver's perspective, one big thing that I was hesitant with is on the center stack with the vertical display, you also had a center, an odometer, a speed sensor display, a center, I keep saying center console, but we're talking about the actual driver's display. We're gonna still have a 12.3 inch driver's display, which I think is awesome. And that's something that I love, because when I'm driving, I don't want to look to my right a little bit more. I just want to look down and up, and that's my scan. But that's what we're going to have, and I think that's still what is going to be a contributing factor to what sets the Model S and the Model X apart from the 3 and the Y, and maybe even the Cybertruck. We're not sure what the interior is going to be finished there, but we know it has that center horizontal screen. And we all know and have loved those automatic closing doors, so those remain from the previous version. But other than that, you got HomeLink, which is still going to be a luxury feature that's installed on this car. Looks like we're going to keep this Fabergé type mentality on making sure that everything is included with the easy exit and entry of the Model X. For the driver door, press the brake and it closes, walk near it, it opens. Amazing. You get used to that, and you step on a brake of another car and you're just like, why isn't it closing? It's kind of funny. But other than that, I'm excited. But now the big thing. The base price of the outgoing Model X was $79,990 before any savings. Now it's so $10,000 for the new revision. And now going to Plaid, we do start at without the savings, $119,990. That's up $20,000 from the outgoing ludicrous version, which is a lot. But when you put in the Plaid details, you go, it's a 400 bump in horsepower, the carbon sleeve rotors, torque vectoring. I don't know if that means that the tires are going to turn separately, but maybe it does. I don't know. So I wish that we'd have more elaboration, or that they would elaborate on what torque vectoring is really going to mean. But I'm excited. The wife says go ahead and go for Plaid. I'm not sure if I could go with it. The extra money is just a lot of money. Maybe you should just invest that into Tesla stock and see that grow instead, right? But at the same time, that 1.3 seconds is fun. How often are you going to do it? Not that much, but I mean, maybe you would. The colors remain the same. You got pearl white, which is included, and then the options for 1500 for black, gray, blue. But we also have, the red for an extra 2500, and then the new Slipstream wheels or turbine wheels for 5500. Amazing option, but once again, the 22s on the previous model did cost you an extra 15 to 20% on range. Now, being 360 miles, that's 36 miles to 50 miles of range for a better looking car. Maybe that's worth it now, because now you'll have 280 miles of usable range. I'm just excited to be able to go to Mammoth without maybe charging, or charging once instead of charging 3 different times on my previous X75. I want to know where that increased of cargo capacity is and room, interior room, but I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Bless you. Are you guys excited? I sure am. I can't wait. My service advisor called me today saying that I will be credited an extra $2,000 for reserving early, so an $8,000 in price difference, or $18,000 in price difference, but I'm not sure. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Sub if you want. I'm going to try to do a little bit more live videos, because I do like this format a little bit more, but then I guess you don't have that opportunity to have the inserts of what I'm talking about on the website. But you can go in. If you can't just listen on your ear, it's a great way to digest the news. I'm always here. Meet me on Clubhouse, Twitter, Instagram, anything else. I'm here for you guys.